late enough so that the Americans can wake up and see the beauty of my opals, but early enough so that not everybody around here has gone to bed and is going to complain. So let's see how we go. Have I Goldilocks it perfectly? Who knows? I will just quickly wipe this bit because this is going to be important. Now I'm going to move these opals that you're seeing here down to the next zone because these opals are all offcuts. There's a few good ones there. A few absolute beauties actually. Let me just quickly move that. There we go. That's looking a bit better. And this one here. Got a spray bottle here somewhere, but does not matter. Okay. So we've got this one here. Let me just quickly show you what we're dealing with here. And I'll zoom in a bit actually. This one, a bit touch and go. I think there's a good chance we'll find something nice in there. So I'm going to have a crack. I'm also going to show you these things. They're a little bit interesting because these guys are actually treated Cooper stones, and I don't know necessarily what to do with them. I've got plenty of other stones to work with, but what I've also got is just these guys. These are just offcuts, and I'll wet them so you can see properly what's going on. Yeah, these are offcuts from the previous one, and they're big offcuts too. So these guys are probably going to be able to make their own stone in their own right. So happy to just give them a go. Now what I might do, depending on what's going on, I might dot this guy up. I've got a little device which I might be able to use. We'll see. It's just it smells. So I don't want complaints to be going around. Right, here we go. Let's have a look at this piece. I think this one's a nice one too. Yep. This one here. So basically I've got a few, and also I've got what's known as a witch's hat knobby. Actually I've got two. Got this witch's hat knobby here. And you can just see a little bit of colour poking through there. This will be interesting to watch. And I've got this one here. This one has no colour poking through, so I reckon I'll open that one up first because that's the one that's most likely to fail. As a matter of fact, let's just do it now. Right. I just had the light on. So what will we do first? I think probably need to change the blade by now. We'll see. I think we can do at least one more cut. Good, everything's working well. Back we go. I'll get there, don't you worry. Come on. You can do it. I realise it's much easier to move the apparatus than the camera. I should have done that yonks ago. Doesn't matter. I will set it to the side a bit so that we've got a bit of play. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be a little bit gentle with this. I'm going to try and get rid of the sand first. Oh, it's been quite a hectic day. Had a lot of stuff to do. And the reason why we're calling this Goldilocks is because I'm trying to get the right time between when the Americans are able to watch it and when most people are still not quite yet asleep and not going to be disturbed. Well, my brother's texting me ad nauseum. Oh, I forgot about this. Let's just quickly got enough internet, hopefully that'll make it all good. Words, what are they? How was your day, Gilly? Did you post in one of my shorts, or are we still waiting? I think my Black Opal Market email address still works, so you can try that. Okay, I'll have to try and find it then. Trouble is, when you sometimes the comments don't show up, and you have to hunt through the analytics package to try and find them. So don't worry, I'll get there. I'll find it. You can have a crack at one of those. That's about one. That's a 1 carat pointer, I reckon. But we'll see. I've got plenty. Look at this. I pulled a few out the other day, and I've got a few more coming. I think there'll be a few more coming tomorrow. And these guys have all got various amounts of colour. I can give you some of them. I might try and sort them a bit first, because I don't want to give you just all the ones which I've only got slight amounts of colour though. I mean, it's okay to have a variety of them, but you just don't want all of them to be rubbish. Okay, well, this is turning out to be a little bit more interesting than I expected. There's a little bit of colour, not a lot, just a little bit sitting underneath there. I might have to what I'm doing is I'm just pushing all of the opal back so that we can see what we're dealing with. This is probably not going to reveal anything anyway. Interesting. So what I would do in these circumstances is just to make the cab anyway and see what happens. But first things first, just get rid of the sand. Still a lot of sand sitting around. Many a time, the sand has been my saving grace. Like, I thought the opal had nothing, but I thought, I'll just clear the sand out of it. It's one of these opals that usually has, depends, it's more, it's hours of use, by the way. What was I saying? I just lost my train of thought there. Yes. First I'll talk about what I was talking about before, which is basically when you've got slight amount of colour and there's some sand in there, you just keep knocking the sand away, and sometimes you get lucky because you cut deep into what is actually some good colour. Now, the Dremel disc. Basically, it's a bit variable. If you cut into bolder opal, then you are likely to require a change of disc a little bit more often. Also, if you encounter this kind of rock, I think this is that kind of rock. Hang on, I'll just wipe. I'm pretty certain that this is what you get at the top of your lightning ridge profiles. And this stuff is hard as nails. I'm assuming, give it a crack, because this one's getting a bit old anyway, so I can muck around with it. But yeah, you get one of those, that'll pretty much destroy your blade instantly. But I think that it's not a, I don't think it's the diamond that's the magic in this. I think it's the holes. I'll just turn this off for a second. Actually, I'll unplug it so you can see. Whoop, wrong unplug. Right. So if you have a look, you can actually see it's full of holes. I think those holes are the things that are really doing it for me. I could be wrong. Jack it off, it's gotten wet. Okay. got to figure out a place to put my elbows, because if my arm is facing down, so you can see my hand is kind of angled down, so if any water gets onto my thumb, it'll track down my arm and into a jacket, or, you know, basically make my life uncomfortable. That's probably the only part of the setup now that's really undesirable. The rest of it's pretty good. So the Dremel disc itself, I'm just thinking, it can last quite some time, and realistically, if you're only doing, for example, Lightning Ridge Opal, it'll last a heck of a long time. It'll last months, even if you're doing some pretty high intensity cutting. But what will happen eventually is you'll be cutting, and you'll just notice that the blade will be skipping across the opal and not going into the precise location you want it to go. I have wrecked many a good opal just because I haven't bothered to change the blade. So we'll see. Cubipedi's pretty tough, that kind of opal to work. Now that's interesting, I should have really paid attention here. I'm just going to cut straight through with my... Okay, the blade is really quite... You saw how the blade skipped onto there? That's a bit of evidence that the blade ain't what it used to be. Just checking to see if I've got a very quick fix sitting around somewhere. Don't think I do. If I could just quickly flip the blade over, I would do that, but I don't think I do. So I think we'll just go on with the show. And hopefully I won't have to do many cuts. If it turns out that I'm having to do more cuts, well, we'll reevaluate. Sometimes helps if you crank up the speed, but I'm not going to do so late at night. It's not all that late, but it's late enough to worry me. I reckon that's good enough. Yep. So what I can do now is I'll just carve into there, make it into a cab. Just make sure there's no more sand in there. That's the thing about these witches' hats. I've noticed that usually the sand's right in the middle of them. Yeah. There is a little bit of colour, a little bit of green, I reckon. Let's zoom in and have a look. Not all that good. We'll see how it goes. Whoop. Whoop. Perfect. You're right, I see a little bit of colour myself. I just don't know if it's going to come out. Well, that's the fun with knobbies, really. They're such a lucky dip. Very small amounts of colour on this one. What I'll do is I'll leave this till morning, see what the sunlight says. Yeah. I used to say a lot of jokes about grinding, but it's basically when we're dealing with opal cutting, well, it's like the jokes write themselves, because I think that the original people who named all the things were essentially dirty old men. Daily grind, yes. Yeah, but remember, when you actually make a a stone before you turn it into a gem, you actually call that stone a rub. And so, you know, rubbing your knobby, honestly, if you didn't know it was opal, yeah, there's not much in that one. Let's give this one a go. Yeah, well, I'll show you why I'm a bit more happy with this guy. You'll figure it out. Can you see that? Try and get it again. There's a little bit colour there. Just on the edge there, over here. Just see that purple? I know that if this is a good opal, the purple will actually resolve into blue, which is what I want. So let's go and zoom out a bit, and we'll see. The daily run. Yeah, I know. If you notice it autocorrect, when you want to say something a little bit naughty, it doesn't let you. But if you want to say something perfectly normal, all of a sudden you come up with the filthiest thing ever. Unbelievable, these things. Other people who've listened to this channel for a while, they know that I used to say that when I was dating, that my autocorrects didn't want me to breed ever. It would always change whatever I was saying, no matter how romantic, no matter how good, into something thoroughly inappropriate. But weirdly, how do I put this politely? There is a word, no matter how often you type it, that just gets instantly converted to duck. Yeah. I noticed that you found a way to get around it. And it actually works that way. It always ducks the punchline. See? Works. Yeah. Tell people just to foo. I'm not exactly the biggest potty mouth in the world anyway, so, you know. Only when autocorrect makes me one. Now, come on, little Opal, you need to... justify the G rating, I suppose. Look at all the bright, happy colours. Having said that, before you start the stream, it makes you specify whether it's meant for kids or not. I'm not sure I can ever click on the yes, it's made for kids. It just sounds, yeah, it's just awful. Yeah, probably better than using Duolingo though. Getting the language streams. I've been given, thanks to the algorithm, a weird assortment of things. I don't know if you've ever been introduced to the joys of the Hoof GP. The Hoof GP is an interesting, you require a bit of a firm stomach for that one. But after that, they go, you know what, you need pimple popping. And so off to Vietnam I go. Well, that's where YouTube takes me. Don't ever leave the playlist on, I think. wake up and all of a sudden you're in a beauty clinic in Vietnam and some person with an amazingly overly created face is getting pierced with a needle. I don't mind them. There's a Dr. Pimple Popper and all that sort of stuff. I'm one of those weirdos. But what I really dislike is when they try to exaggerate the photos on the thumbnail. Some of them are just absolutely unbelievable. Literally so. You know what? This one has turned out as not very exciting, I don't think. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to give it... then give it a bit of a burl, but it looks like this one's turned up a blank as well. That's not very sporting of it. It was always promising and never delivering. Look at that. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. I wouldn't worry. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring some rocks down to give you an idea of what's going on here. I've got this guy here. All I want to do is find out what it's I just want to find out what it's looking like underneath, so I'm not necessarily going to do that one. Got this one here. That one's just suspicious to me, so I'll have a look at what's underneath all that sand. But there's like dozens of these other ones that are sitting here. These guys here. All of these have got a reason to be here. This one, for example, I'll leave that down the bottom there because that's actually an obvious reason. What I might do is I might find one of the ones which has got nice green sitting to it, just so that it's got some fun. No, and this one, yes. This one here. Actually, I'll do this one now. Another black opal, hopefully. Now, don't worry about the fact that it's grey on the outside. Just to give you some perspective, these things, they sometimes darken on the inside as you cut into them. I've got evidence that it does darken because that crystal just on the top there is shining away quite well. Have I just cut it all off? Yeah, probably. Well done, Phil. Not much you can do about that. Okay, no worries, thank you. That was my daughter wishing me a happy live stream. Have a look at it. No, it's turning over blank. Don't worry, there'll be other ones that I can go to. So I'm not concerned yet.
I am behind you.
Hello.
Just so you don't fuck up your opal. Freak up your opal.
I do teach my children well, mostly.
Yeah, I know a lot about particle physics.
Off you go.
No kisses? Alright. That'd be fun.
See you around, love. There goes my G rating.
No, you can still have a PG with one F-bomb.
Yeah. There's only so much you can teach your kids. One day you'll realise that whatever you're teaching your children will be supplemented by the fat kid in the corner. What's the phrase? Give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Give a child a fish and she badgers you until you give him pizza. She's a good kid, by the way. It's not my business to say, but she's been through the ringer a few times. Oh, I'm starting to decide that lightning isn't striking very well. Lightning Ridge is not doing me any favours whatsoever. Nothing. Alright. Let's drag the big guns out. Just get this guy going. See what that is. Just so that you know, I did some experiments with Matrix Opal. I'll quickly show you this one. I'm not going to bother trying to zoom in, but basically there is the tiniest amount of colour in this one. And there's another one which I think I brought inside, which has colour as well. The other thing that of note is not that one, is this guy here. The white one in the corner, the top corner. I'll actually bring it out. There is a little bit of colour, but this has ended up as quite an interesting picture stone. I'll try and pull that out and show you. Here we go, thank you. Now these are cracks that actually were filled with a kind of a matrixy sand and were actually able to be contrasted by the solution, which is a bit interesting. And basically it looks like a Christmas tree now. So that was an interesting yeah, they will grow out of it eventually. I think that the one thing that kids need more than anything else is consistency. Just don't get too upset, but also don't be too lenient. Just getting rid of the back here. I'm hoping that something survives because there's a sandy void in there. Okay, in we go. Have a look at this. Can you see that? See those flecks of green, purple, and wow. Okay, I've got to be really careful and cautious with this one. Well, that was a surprise. I'm just very carefully getting this sand out because sometimes there's surprises in these opals. So I've got the good surprise. There's the bad surprise. It just flew off. I think I'm going to have to just carve along there, try and make sure I preserve the opal. And that's a good time to ask me if I'm regretting not changing the blade. Oh dear, look at this. We're going to have to get rid of that. We're going to have to see how it goes. What I'll do is I'll carve around this bit here and try and skirt the issue until I've got a bit of a better idea of what the sand's doing around here. I'm determined to make it work no matter what it's doing. This will be an opal. It might be a small one, but it will be an opal. Yeah, there'll be much opal here. That is beautiful crystal. Wow. Can you see that? It's just astonishing. Do not adjust your set. This is what is actually in there. There is green. And it's not just a green, it's kind of an aquary green. Haven't seen much of that in there. The only thing that worries me is if you have a look, there's literally cracks going all the way through. So we'll see what's going on. We'll just keep getting rid of the stuff that needs to be got rid of, and eventually we'll be left with what we can cut. Looks like there's material which can be doubleted, and there's material that can be opal. I've just got to be a bit cautious with this stuff. Okay, here we go. This is the bit that's nerve-wracking because this is, I'm really close to the opal that is good. You can just see on the side there. This is an astonishing opal. It's what you live for sometimes. And you'll be right if you were saying, was this in the bag of no colour? It was indeed. I'm so lucky that I've got a colour-blind opal dealer. It's alright, I post photos of these things to them. They're actually quite happy that I get good stuff out of there. I think they've got some quite luxurious opals that they make. If they can afford to let these guys go. Not to diss other channels or anything, I'm far from dissing other channels, but I really like the idea of just getting in there and just cutting open random opals. You saw the two knobbies, which I thought would actually do quite well. Nothing. But the whole point was that these were very lotto-like gems. I like that concept. I like just playing opal lotto. That's alright. Even if it's not immediate, I will be looking for opportunities to share the good fortune around. And I'm not one of these like and subscribe people, although guys, like and subscribe. I'm not necessarily going to worry about competitions to increase my viewership. Just if I feel like it, I'll just give away an opal. That had to go. I'm not happy that it had to go, but it did. And because it's dark, I'll have to retrieve the bit in the morning. Hopefully this chunk... This is Cooper Petey. It feels like Lightning Ridge. Maybe a Lightning Ridge just fell in. I don't know. I'm going to say this is Lightning Ridge, and I don't know who made the mistake. And if anybody out there is wondering how I know this, it's just they have definite feels, these opals. Like, Lightning Ridge opal is a little bit like butter, and pieces don't fly off as regularly as Cooper Petey. Minabe is the worst from that regard. Minabe will just explode as soon as you look at it. Still wondering what to do with that gap in the middle here. I'm toying with the concept of, you know, cutting it down the middle somehow and making two opals from it, because I don't know. Let me see. I'm trying to cut it in such a way that I can get a defined difference in something. What I might do is I might just, yeah, there's just a patch of sand right there, and there's a patch of sand right here, so I'll carve along that sand. It definitely looks like wood fossil opal. It's got the sand as well. If I just encountered this without any prior knowledge, I would have said wood fossil opal from Lightning Ridge. I'm willing to bet that that's actually an accurate assessment. So this is just a tiny fragment. I'm going to just turn it into a pointer to see what they look like. This one probably needs some backing from some black potch. Bit too thin to make it into anything good. But if you get slightly larger crystals, I really like the idea of, I don't know, they look cool. They just look cool. So there's a little bit of green showing through there. We've got some black yet. I'll use this treated matrix. See what it looks like underneath. So yeah, it's looking okay. Put that into the jar, wherever the jar happens to be. And let's go in there for the time being. When I find the jar, in the jar it goes. Right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently see if I can get myself into a position where we've got a solid. That is definitely wood opal. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to cut across here, and this is going to be my yeah. So this section here is where my opal's going to be. But this is too thin. They'll probably make a doublet. I'll be able to keep it, so it's not total tragedy. Because it's Lightning Ridge, I can get away with cutting it. There we go. Quickly smooth that out, see what we get. Okay, so it's another opal that's just a bit too thin to be a solid. So if I'm going to make it into anything, I need to double it up. I'll try and stick it onto the back here so you can see. Is that going to work? Probably not. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, it's stuck. I meant that to happen, totally. Alright. Will that crack go? Probably not, but we'll try it. You know what? I'm going to keep this shape. I like this kind of branched shape. I reckon I can enhance it too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve into that bit and carve into this bit. So this is going to become a bit of a sculpture, really. And because of that, I'm going to carve lines into it, which are commensurate with the sand. How to polish that up? That's going to be an interesting challenge, but that's a tomorrow problem. Yeah, a bit of tree of life kind of stuff going here, I reckon. That's the lake. That was actually a mistake, but I was able to turn it into a feature. Okay, and then in line with our philosophy of whatever we're doing here, accidentally cleans it up. Now I decided to get that shape happening, clean it up. So, there's a tiny little inclusion there. Can I get rid of it? Hope so. Too late now. Right, so what I'll do is I'll just carve like that. Just carve along here. Just carve along here. So that's my general vibe there, I reckon. That's a carving now. Now for those who are interested, yes, I could turn this into a cab, but I would lose a lot of opal doing that, and it's beautiful. I'm not sure what you're seeing here, but like, let me zoom in. It just is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm not sure. This is one of these opals that just wants to be a different shape, I'm afraid. It happens from time to time. You've just got to be able to accommodate that shape a little bit, because, like for example here, and in here, because if we're going to make it a tree shape, because I think that's what we need to do, because it's a it's wood opal, so I think that making it tree shaped is appropriate. The angle of this part, and then yeah, like so. And then give it an actual angle in there, so you can actually see. Now it looks like a stump. Can you see that? Now it looks like a tree stump, and I reckon that'll make a very interesting pendant or thereabouts, you know. So I'm going to keep it like so. I'm just going to give it a few bits of zhuzhi. I'll just straighten that there. Now, I'm not an opal carver as a general rule, but there is definitely an art to it. I think that's the point of limited returns. I think that's as good as it's going to get before I start ruining it. So it's either a really bad Mickey Mouse or a tree stump. So that was a good outcome. I like that. What I'm going to have to do is, polishing that is going to be a nightmare, an absolute nightmare, but that's okay. Like I said, it's a tomorrow problem. Just having a look through here. Oh, sucker for punishment, I am. There's some green here. I'm just going to carve this up. Have a look at the green. Now, I'm not going to promise you anything, but I definitely want a cab somehow. This is Lightning Ridge too. Somehow Lightning Ridge has got mixed in. Yeah, that's all knobby. It's literally all white cap. And underneath this white cap is just a hint of green right over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see how far I can push this. Looking okay. Alright, we've got a good idea of it now. The sand is almost directly underneath it. Actually worries me when I see stuff like that. I wonder whether I've just actually accidentally hacked through a bone. Because a lot of this is voids, so, you know, very easy to get a bone. Gotten plenty. Last thing I want to do is just make a nice little pretty pendant out of a plesiosaur clipper. I mean, it'll be pretty, but what a waste. Okay, now this is getting interesting. This is another one of these ones which I'm going to leave freeform-esque, because the green is here, which is good. That's fine. But the other interesting part that's developing is this spongy tissue, which makes me suspect it's bone. There's a few voids sitting within there, just like clear voids. And I'm wondering whether that'll actually enhance the stone a bit. So it's another freeform in which we've got a bit of weirdness going on. Happy to do that. I know the last time I've done 2-3 freeforms in a row, I'm just usually a cab man. I just go, that's it, cab time. No, it's looking suspiciously cab-like now. The thing that intrigues me here is whether we're going to get either pinfire or sunflash happening in this. And I reckon we will. I reckon this is going to end up as a cab too. But it's going to be a bit unique. A bit unique. That's like saying you're a bit dead. It's going to be unique. Just me to get the weird ones? Okay. I suppose that's what happens when you just go, close your eyes and purchase. Yep. Yeah, well, I'm going to have an unusually high domed cab here, but I think it's going to be worth it. It's going to be a little bit weird, because it's going to be pretty... I think it's another wood opal, by the way. Just recognise some xylem and phloem structures. Yeah, I've done plant biology. I used to teach it. That was funny. Taking most of the green off it. Yeah, I've started to lose interest in this one. I'll just finish this bit off, and then what I'll do is I'll put it onto the dot to finish it off. Yeah, I think basically I've got a good backing on it, that the dot is the way to go from here on in. So that will get done eventually, after, you know, but 53 different priorities that I want to get to before I get to this one. Let's see if this one promises or delivers, or, well, something. This is definitely Kubipede. They're back to the Kubipedes. Yeah, and that tells me it's shell opal. So once again, I'm hacking into a precious piece of history. I'm not as concerned with shell opal, because there's plenty around. And I think we're better off, well, if you catch it early enough, preserve the shape, and then put it into a nice pendant so people know there's Cretaceous stuff all around here. Just as an aside, it's very lucky that this blade is for rocks and not for humans, because I would not have a finger by now. I've just been constantly bumping it all night. I have had a full day's work before I got to here, and I also had a few other chores to do before I got onto the live stream, so I suppose I'm due an industrial accident. That's not exactly what I was going for, but I suppose we'll leave it at that. Well, yes, industrial accidents aren't like the industrial accidents we used to have in my day. You get a little bruise and you have to put a blue band-aid on it. We lost an entire leg. Good night, mate. I'll be finishing it off soon as well. Oh, we're done. Well, it's been nearly an hour, so it'll be about 10 o'clock-ish. Right, so not so spectacular. Time to crack out the big guns. One of these will do it. What I'm planning on doing is one more, and hopefully it'll be an absolute corker. Let's see which one will produce. This one, I reckon. These are all out of my top grade, top notch. Definitely like these ones, opals. Let me just show you before we start as well. Okay, so why am I happy with this one? You'll see. Hopefully, anyway. See that flash that's going in there, that nice bit of red, that nice bit of green. Now, hopefully, we'll be able to get through that sand. There's a bit of blue in there. And there's an awful lot of bright, vibrant colours that are just absolutely smashing through here. Something to look out for, however, there is a piece of sand that's going all the way through here. That is where the sand is. So we might not be able to avoid sand completely in this particular piece. But I'm not concerned, because the sand is probably what's giving us the colour. And besides, I've got these guys here if we run into trouble. So we're going to have fun no matter what happens. A bit closer, a bit not so close. And that other opal is still there. Well done, you've behaved yourselves well. So what I'm doing now is what can be done. So the sand is going first. That's an easy, no-brain option. Now what I'm doing is I'm carving the back of it to see if I can flatten something out here. See where a stone can actually be made. The other thing I can do by checking out this back section is, if I do need to slice it, I want to be really sure where the sand is, so I can slice it properly. Because a good slice means that you make more opal, not less. Means that you've possibly got 2 good opals. Right, this is just sand filled opal there. So I'm just gonna, whoop, snapped. That's alright, that happens from time to time. I'll just quickly clean this bit up. So, not much to speak of there. Just try this piece. This was always going to be the sandy bit, so yeah, not much there. Here's where it's going to get interesting. Let's try. How much sand have I gotten? How much have I avoided? I think we've got something viable here. Mosquito. Okay, we're getting something. What I might do is I might carve into there, yeah. I'll have to do it anyway. And the best idea is, like, if you can carve into it, you make a couple of savings. You stop opal dust from flying everywhere, which is good. You also potentially have a chance at another opal if everything goes your way. So far, so good. In case you're interested, I'm starting to angle the blade away so I've got more depth to play with. Cut straight through here. Oh, this is definitely too easy. There goes that piece. Let's have a look at it. Can we get anything out of it? Don't think so. I think it's just a little bit of polish. That's okay. All opal is special and precious and stuff. A lot of sand sitting in there. Is that the piece? It is. There's the piece. Is that the piece? That's the piece. Far out. Thought I was going mad. Well, I was half right. Okay, so here's where the rubber meets the road. You can see that little piece of colour there. There's a sandbar there. Can we excavate the sandbar without excavating the colour? The reason why I did such a brutal cut when I've been so gentle previously was I am really concerned. Yeah, you can see. Let's zoom in and I'll show you. So you can, I'll move this light back because I'm not worried about the colour at the moment. You can see how there's that kind of that light sandy layer, and what you'll do is when we move the light back, you'll realise that that light sandy layer is literally underneath that colourful opal. So it's going to be quite a challenge extracting that colour. What I've noticed is that there's sand underneath here, So I'm going to very carefully cut through that sand. I notice there's a little edge of opal, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hedge my bets, and I'm going to cut this little edge off. There we go. Come on. There we go. Going to cut this little edge off, because that means I'll at least get something if everything goes wrong. Definitely should not do it that way, but hey. Wait, no, give me a break. Whoop. That's what to do with thousands of dollars worth of opals, and it just randomly flip it. That flew straight at my face. Just caught on a bit. Here we go. At least we've got something out of it. Yeah, I can see a little piece of opal actually flew off at the time that it did that. But that's okay. What it did was it actually napped off. And napping is what people used to do to make arrowheads and stuff. So when a bit flakes off in a particular way, like when a flint has been napped. Flint napping. There we go. Right, so this piece here, worst comes to worst, has got there, just here. Move that away a bit. See if that'll work. You'll just have to believe me, I think. Move the light forward, maybe. Yeah, I think you can see it now. There's the colour. Just in that section there. So it's quite a nice bit of colour. So what I'll do is I'll very carefully readjust the light. And then. This time around I'm just cutting down to the colour, just in case there's something sitting underneath. Also very gently, just straightening everything out so that when we get finally to that final piece, we'll just have a nice stone sitting underneath. Like Michelangelo, when he was carving statues, he said that the statue was always in there and just carving off the excess bits. That's how I feel about this. Yes, there's colour. I was right. Brilliant. So it's a pointer, but it's a pretty big pointer. Maybe 0.75 of a carat or something. Which is well worth your while. Especially with colour like this. Always nerve-wracking when you put the whole face of the opal against the blade, because it's exactly what you think it's doing. The opal could be, centimetres thick, or it could be millimetres, or fractions of a millimetre. And I've done that plenty of times. Put the face on, and then, well, where did the opal go? we go. I think it's time to pass this off to the dopping stick now. So I will get the rest of that done. I might even have to cut that bit off. Yeah, I might have to. I'm making the decision for me because sometimes you don't remember what you were going to do. And yes, I could have salvaged the other bit and turned it into a doublet or something, but realistically, when you're trying to get these pointers out, you should really concentrate on the good stone and not worry about the other stones you might be able to get. Worry about your sure bets. There is a time and a place for every conservative strategy though. Right, so that's a tiny little piece of the opal, and that's going out to be turned into an earring or something. Now where's the rest of it? That's not it. That's not it. It could be it, but it's not. That'll be annoying. Oh, here it is, I think. Yeah, I think it's this bit. Right. Sometimes I've laughed at what it's all become, because like I'm happily sitting here just carving carats and carats of precious opal away. The only reason I can stand to do it is because I kind of know it's necessary. What I'm doing is I'm concentrating on the back. As you can see, I haven't carved the front down a bit because, well, it's pretty hard to figure out what to do with that bit. Once we've... yeah, we're going to get there. Just see if there's any more colour underneath this bit. Before I extract it. I think there is. A very slight amount of colour. I've got to be careful here because I think that if I don't watch it, I might actually lose the colour that's here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a series of straight cuts, each one a little bit more scary than the previous one. Yep. Yeah, you can go there. Sorry, the water just tipped out all over me. It's okay. I've got to do something about that arrangement that I've got there. Okay, in the meantime, concentrate on the opal field. Concentrate on the opal. Whoa. I really should have adjusted my grip there. Oh, that's pretty amateurish. There we go. Now what have I done? That's what happened when I didn't adjust that grip. I don't think it's a fatal problem. Just annoying. So it looks like we've got about 1 carat of material left. Come on, you can do this. Whew. That's a pretty dangerous slip, to be honest. I don't think it's going to hurt me, but it nearly did. And it's not entirely my fault that the slip happened like that, because what's going on is that the opal is trying to get cut along the weakest axis, which is where the sand happens to be. So if you're going to slip, you're going to end up in the sand, basically. Opal wants to be in the sand pit. Hopefully that's not fatal. That's good. Okay. Although that's not as clear cut as I would have liked it to have been, but I, can't choose now because I did it. I was too incautious with my cutting. But I think I've gotten away with it, but only just. Not much in that. Well, it happens to the best of us. It's quite a small stone. I was realising that was one of the risks. It's got this semi-lunar appearance, so what I'll do is I'll keep that appearance there. And I'll try and roll it over to get a little bit more surface area. It's not a bad little stone, it's just it was a bit of a comedy of errors. There we go, I'm just cutting that sandy section out. Right, so I think that I'll leave it like that. It's not a bad little stone, it's just about, I don't know, 0.75 of a carat or something. Sufficiently weeny. Pop that into the top. And that happens from time to time, so oh well. You can't help it. You've got to just keep going and get the good stone out of it. There we go. That is something that's worth doing. I'm cutting opal, my friend. I will do one more because I was not entirely satisfied with that one. I want to get one that's as slammy dunky as possible. Check this out. You can see all that little blue colour there. Yeah, this will be a better one. Hang on. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, that'll do. I'm not going to go over this side anyway. Okay, just so you can see, there's actually ridges. That's actually shell opal. I think that the quality of the opal is worth the sacrifice this time round. What I'm doing here is I am envisaging that this is not going to be the top of the opal, this is going to be the bottom, but I might incautiously end up cutting it too far and it will be the top of the opal. But the opal will be dictating what is going to be the top and the bottom because it's whatever shows best. There's really not much you can do to the opal to convince it if it wants to go a particular way. You can do a small number of dirty tricks. Look at that. Yeah, okay. We might have to stay on this side because I think we're doing alright. That crack will go, pretty certain anyway. I really want to cut that bit off, but I think I'd have to grind it. It's alright. Let's try and get this crack out. It's actually a delamination of shell, I think. Not exactly a crack. Oh, now it's popping out of the woodwork. This is colourful wherever you point it. What do you do with an opal like this? For those people who are actually interested in the fossil record and stuff like that, I've gotten a large consignment of Cooper Pedy opal, and a lot of it is going to the Opal Centre in Lightning Ridge because a lot of it is fossil material. And I've made some decisions on some opals, whether to cut them or not. Some of them, yeah, fossil opal I will be cutting, as is this. It's fossil shell. There are other fossil opals which I have refused to cut. So you've got best of both worlds around here. Okay, time to gently bring these corners in. Time to not so gently bring that end in. It's of no use to us anymore. Right. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this one, finally, because we're going to get ourselves, it's either going to be a drop or a cab, but either way, not bad. Drop time. We're going to go straight to a cab from the looks of things. Pretty good. Excellent. Come on, don't do that to me. It's just refusing to even up a bit, so I don't want to play a game of carve off one side then carve off the other till you've got nothing left. You can't carve off one and carve the other. Love and opal, love and opal. Sometimes it's difficult to cope. There we go. I carved a massive divot out of it, but other than that, not too bad. Alright, so that's basically the rough outline of a cabochon, which is the preferred shape for an opal. There we go. So there we go, nice little cab there. That is sitting there at about 2.5, maybe 3 carats at the moment. And we might be able to get a good, decent amount of colour. I think that's the last one I'm going to do tonight. This is Australia, which is pretty much late at night now. But don't worry, there's a little bit left to go in this particular presentation because we say goodnight to the birds. And I don't think many people have 2 cockatoos sitting in their home. So everyone say goodnight to the birdies. Hello, Loki. Hello. She's molting at the moment and her feathers have never been all that good. It's drying off my hands. I know. It's all right, Max, I'm coming. Max is getting very, very jealous at the moment because I'm sitting... Whoa, sorry. It's just a pin feather. Do you want that? All right, I'm getting there. There you go. When you do the pin feathers, they just absolutely love it. I did a short on this earlier, showing how to do pin feathers and stuff, and especially to do it with just a kind of the file that you will find. Usually people try to hide them in cakes when breaking people out of prison. What do you reckon, Max? Do you want to come here? Come here. Come on. Come on. Oh, there's a moth there. Look. It's all right. Just find out where those moths have come from and I will deal with them. There you go. How's that, huh? How's that? Is that... Yeah. Okay. Last time I live streamed, he bit me. It's alright, he's a wild caught, so he's... There we go. You can get out if you want. You want to get out? There you go. How'd you get? Come on, Loki. Do you want to step up? Come on, step up. No. It's alright. I know, you were just getting settled, weren't you? I'm sorry. Max is up. How far art thou, Max? Itchy. Can I do your beak, mate? This is the original reason I was using the file, because he had when I first got him, his beak was deformed, and so I started filing his beak back. Now, you may or may not know, most birds, and parrots included, have continually growing beaks, and so they're constantly chewing things to try and get their beak to wear down. So what that means is that these guys really, really love it when you scratch their beak like this.
You finishing up that live stream?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Lucky. Hello, Maxie. Hello.
Yeah, the kids are coming out of the woodwork now.
I'm about to go to bed. Hello.
There you go. You had any dinner?
Oh.
Yeah.
Do I really have time? I need to go to bed. Lucky, no, I have products on my hand. You can't bring it. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Lucky.
It's all right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to feed these kids, make sure that they've got a little bit in them, and I'll let these birds have a bit of a run around whilst I'm doing that. Right in the nest? In the nest? Oh, let me get it. Let me get it. Okay, have you ever seen anyone pick a bird's nose before? Better do this. Yeah, I know, I'm getting there. Yeah, I can see it. Just let me get there. It's all right. I can do it.
You want some bacon?
It's not a bad idea.
I'll just make some of the yogurt then.
Okay.
I need to get up early in the morning. 6 a.m.
Oh, what was that? What was that? No, I'm not doing that again if you're going to do that. That could have been a hazard to
You
you.
make me feel sorry, Dad.
I know, he's regretting his life choices. I get that. But you don't reward it, do you? All right. I hope everyone had a good stream, seeing what was going on. This is Pony. She just recently laid an egg. And she's also just destroyed the cage bottom as well. There you are.
I've got some bacon with blueberries and strawberries, okay?
That sounds delicious. All right.
Make someone breakfast. It is breakfast.
It's a breakfast dish. All right. Going to flip this around? Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I'm going to go and sort out the house now. I've got a few other things that I need to do. If you enjoyed, thank you. If you enjoyed the stream, like and subscribe. You don't have to. There's no obligation, but it really helps out the channel. Make sure you leave a comment on the way out.
Basically, please help my dad.
There you go. Is that begging? Pretty much is.
Please help my dad. I'm a poor little orphan.
Orphan. Help out the orphan who's my child.
Poor little orphan over here.
Well, okay, fine. All right. Have a lovely evening, guys, and it's time for me to go. Dr. Phil out.